Moving away from being just a pure crypto app towards becoming real infrastructure for everyday life, that's what SwissBorg now wants to do. In the end, many people in the crypto space talk about adoption, but hardly anyone is actually building real use cases. However, SwissBorg announced exactly that at their keynote on the 25th of February. That's exactly what they announced. For example, a debit card, but also a web app. And trigger orders with a smart engine, so extremely exciting. But the question isn't just what was presented, but ultimately also how the whole thing looks strategically for 2026 and what it means. And that's exactly what we're going to take a detailed look at together now. Hi, I'm Marius from 10x Invest. In this video, you'll get the complete recap of the SwissBorg keynote along with my assessment, clearly structured without hype, focusing on what's relevant for you as a user or investor. So let's take a closer look at it. What exactly was announced, why is it important, and where is SwissBorg actually heading strategically? At the end, I'll also explain the crucial question: does this make SwissBorg a serious alternative to traditional exchanges, or maybe even a super app? Let's start with the debit card, probably the biggest update. SwissBorg is launching its own debit card. Extremely exciting. And now it gets even more interesting. Because you no longer need fiat. You can basically pay directly with Bitcoin, Sol, or other assets. In the background, your crypto position is automatically converted. And all of this happens in real time, so basically anywhere that accepts MasterCard, for example. Or Google Pay, and of course Apple Pay as well, since both are integrated. And up to 99% cashback is even possible, so extremely exciting. And this isn't just theory, it's real utility. In other words, crypto is essentially leaving the pure investment level and becoming part of your everyday life. The rollout is now starting for Series A and for Pegasus 2026. In March, further access will then be gradually rolled out. The goal is then to be fully rolled out. Rollout to be completed by Q2. But the strategic question now, of course, is what does it mean if users no longer have to withdraw their assets but can pay directly from the app? Let's move on to the SwissBorg app, that is the web app/desktop. This is the second major step, really. SwissBorg now has a desktop app available. That may sound simple at first, but it is strategically extremely important. Here, for example, you get a portfolio overview on the desktop. You can trade via the smart engine. There's an asset detail page, a marketplace, and downloadable account statements, for example, for network taxes. So for many professional users, such desktop access is a must. But the security remains high. Login only via mobile app. Confirmation. Passkey-based access, no traditional password. The rollout is starting now for Elite and Pegasus 2026, and the full rollout is planned for early March. This massively professionalizes the app, of course. Debit card, desktop structure, exciting technical updates. And now let's move on to the trigger orders. SwissBorg is introducing new trigger orders, in other words, automated trading by the dip. Take profit, stop loss, or both at the same time. Now, of course, the question is, what's the difference compared to traditional exchanges? Execution is handled by the so-called smart engine. This ultimately means that a liquidity aggregator connects with over 30 DEXs and 5 centralized exchanges. So you're not trading on a single exchange. And instead, you're trading against aggregated liquidity. The goal? It's the best execution, meaning the best price, the best market price at the moment of execution. The launch will happen immediately for Elite and Pegasus 2026, followed by a broader rollout. But this is exactly where it becomes strategic, of course, because in the end, SwissBorg connects 3 levels. First, everyday usability through the debit card, then a professional infrastructure via the web app, and a structured trading logistics through the trigger orders. So this isn't just a single feature update, but ultimately an infrastructure update. Now let's get to my strategic conclusion. The keynote shows SwissBorg's clear direction for 2026. SwissBorg is clearly positioning itself between retail usability and professional execution infrastructure. So it's extremely exciting, not just buying and holding, but ultimately also using, structuring, and automating. But the crucial question now is, can SwissBorg use this to take market share from the traditional exchanges? If you want to use SwissBorg yourself now, or just try it out, I recommend my link below in the pinned comment. You can even get up to 50 euros. Bitcoin bonus if you use my link. Have fun with it and thank you for your support. By the way, if you want to watch the complete tutorial on SwissBorg, I'll link it here for you. Have fun with it, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. See you in a bit.